Today I'm going to talk about the 3 things that you need to do to turn a reference photo into something that is paintable. So the first thing that we need to do is crop. Look at your scene and find that right composition. You can explore a landscape format or a portrait format and decide what is right for this photo. And so this can be as simple as pulling it up on your phone or your computer and practice different ways of cropping and seeing the reference photo. And a good rule when you're thinking about cropping your photo is to think about the rule of thirds. Now, if you're not familiar with the rule of thirds, it's simply dividing your painting by 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines, and then you're creating these thirds of your painting. And typically, this is where you want the most important parts of your painting to line up. Now, it's helpful to think about the horizon line when you make this composition. You don't want that horizon line to be right in the middle of your painting. So have it favor the top third or the bottom third. When you're making this decision, you can think, what is more important? What is going on in the sky or what is going on the ground of the scene, and that will help you decide which way you need to compose this. The next thing you need to do when you're translating a photo into a painting is you need to learn how to edit. There is so much information in every photograph that we take. We need to decide what is important and what isn't important, and we can remove things from the scene. Maybe there's too many boats in the scene. Maybe there's too many verticals. Maybe there's more buildings than you want. Unless you're using Photoshop or something like that, you're not really taking things out of the painting, but you're thinking through what needs to be removed, what isn't important in your scene. And that brings me to point number 3. Decide what the main idea of your painting is. Now, we've already done a little bit of this when we've cropped, when we removed unnecessary detail, but this helps us further solidify why we are selecting this scene. What is it about this photo that is exciting to you? It helps us get really clear and really focused on that before we start the painting process. Why is it helpful to think about this beforehand? Well, we know that we have certain tools that allow us to attract the viewer's eye to a certain spot on your painting. And those tools are edge. If it's a soft or hard edge, our eyes go towards the harder edge. Contrast, if there's a strong jump in value in a certain area of the painting. So a really light area against a dark area. And third, we have color. You generally want the most saturation in that most important area of your painting. Look at some of these paintings by Andy Evenson. He is very good at selecting what is important and minimizing the other details, minimizing the background of the scene. You look at this painting and you understand that this is the main idea. This is what's most important. Kim is a member of my watercolor community, and she sent me an email with a collection of reference photos, and she was curious which ones of these would make good paintings. And so let's look at how I would edit these to help her get started. Let's think about some ways that we could crop this photo. So if we wanted to do something that's more of a vertical composition, we could have this boat be in the bottom third of the painting. Look at that. You have the lovely atmosphere, you have the soft background. Think about how much more focused this is as a painting rather than this. It changes the feeling quite a bit when you remove a lot of that. Also, think about how much more paintable this is. Okay, here we have a lovely street scene. What can we do to this reference photo to make it more paintable? Well, right away, I don't like these posts that are coming right down into the foreground. This guy, we don't want him right at the edge of the painting. She's a little too close to the foreground. So in my mind, I know that I'm already not going to include these 3 things. So let's see if we can get this building more in that upper third. What about something like that? So this building here becomes more of the main feature of the painting. And then we know when we paint this, we're going to eliminate these things. We're probably going to take out maybe a few of these figures. But look at this figure right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. See how this figure is stepping into the light? You could enlarge her, bring her a little closer to you, and when you draw your scene, you could put it over here. So you can take cues from your reference photo and you can compose them in a way that creates a better composition, a more focused painting. We have several scenes here that could work. I mean, look how beautiful that sky is and how lovely those distant hills are. And then you have the boat and the reflection on the water down here that's also so interesting. When we try to feature each one of these in the same painting, the painting becomes too much. We need to simplify and choose what is most important. Let's see what this would look like. There's a painting here somewhere. You could simplify this, you could focus on the sky. So that's one option. Also, you could choose to feature this boat. That's a whole nother painting right there. You could also do a vertical composition that features some of that architecture. You could do something like that. You're still including some of the sky and the distance, but that's not competing with the scene as much as it would be in this scenario. So before you jump into painting a scene, think through these three things. Crop, think about composition, edit out unnecessary details, and decide what the main idea is of your painting. Have you ever been really excited about a painting and you get all set up, you find that right reference that you're excited about, and then it's time to go and you feel lost? You ever had that experience? You just are having a hard time finding consistency. Some of your paintings turn out, some of your paintings don't turn out, and you're not really sure why. Well, I have a free resource that I want to give to you today that can help exactly with these problems. My 5 steps to plan a successful watercolor painting. I walk you through the crucial planning phase of your painting that will help you understand what you're going to paint first, second, and third. The planning is really so important, especially in watercolor. This medium is harder to correct. It's so immediate. So having that plan is very important. I send you a PDF that you can download. And the great thing about this is you can have it on your phone, you could print it out, and you can take a look at these crucial planning steps before you start each painting to ensure that you're thinking through these important things as you get started. You can download this right now before you start your next painting. All you have to do is follow this link here and download my 5-step guide to planning a successful watercolor painting.